point into our simulated countdown.
Lunchtime, kids! All right!
Yum.
Hello, friends. It's lunchtime.
Hello, friends, indeed. It is lunchtime. It's actually a little bit past lunchtime. It's 12:10. Sorry we were so late getting here. We were hustling and bustling backstage, you know, getting everything prepared and just perfect for you. That's what we're here to do today. It's where Zach's also not here. He's off gallivanting around in the cafeteria. I'm not sure what's going on.
We can't get anybody on the same page.
Anna's
here.
not here. She's off working on a deadline project, but I am here.
Also, what is going on with my camera right now? Do you see this?
Yeah, it's like a hue. It's a glow in there.
Yeah. It's. I swear the aspect ratio and the color changes every single time.
I liked it before when you were like in like the purple room. You were in, like,
I liked the pink.
Yeah. It's Sarah's here as well. The pink was good. We're gonna get right to the news today. We're not gonna gallivant. I like the word gallivant today. I apologize.
Clearly that's.
We're not going. That's a word of the day on Sesame
works.
Street. Yeah. We're not going to mess about with other shenanigans. We're gonna get right to the heart of the news. What's going on in the world today, Sarah?
A lot, actually. So in our first story, we're talking about Brett Kavanaugh, President Trump's nomination, of course, for Supreme Court Justice. This is one of those stories that, depending on who you read, you're going to get similar information, but a different feeling. So the CNN article says, quote, and I'm quoting this, so I'm not saying anything myself here, Brett Kavanaugh and the Democrats got what they came for. It goes on to read, quote, one of the most vindictive and ill-tempered congressional hearings in memory appeared to do little to shake up the political realities that will likely see President Donald Trump's Supreme Court reshaping nominee confirmed before the midterm elections. It's a long sentence, but there you go. The Fox News article says Kavanaugh avoids Democrats, traps as chaotic. And then it goes kind of on to say as the chaotic hearing winds down. The first line of that article says Democrats have spent the week trying to catch Judge Brett Kavanaugh in a lie and employ old emails to cast him as a radical conservative. Long story short, it's been a long week of up and down questions and hearings and all that stuff. But today, most likely the vote will be happening. If you want to find out more information, they've pretty much streamed the entire questioning live. So, I mean, you can just search that on Google and find out for yourself what you think. But wanted to throw it out there that depending on who you read, you're going to get a different idea.
I went to two sources to read about him. The Wall Street Journal tends to lean more conservative, and NPR tends to lean more liberal. Both of them kind of said the same thing. What the Democrats seem not to like about him is the fact that the president is the one nominating him. That is the biggest. That's the biggest. It said from all intents and purposes. And again, if I'm wrong, Matt, maybe you're more up to date, or Sarah, more up to date on this. He is a moderate conservative. Not a horrible choice. He should be a pretty good replacement for the one that they lost, who's also a moderate conservative. I think it'd be a pretty good fit. I just feel like the things that they're throwing at him that I've heard as a critique are the fact that Kavanaugh, when he was with the Bush White House and was the presidential advisor, had some conversations that were top secret and protocol for, moving forward. They did this with the Obama White House as well. President Obama allowed, when he nominated his Supreme Court justice, they did the same thing where they allowed you to go into a secured room and read top secret documents that he may have been a part of. And they said that no one chose to do that. So I'm not sure what the time frame was. Like, hey, if you're here from 1 a.m. to 1:15 a.m., you can get that done. And I'm not sure what that was. But they said it was in dealing with the way that it has been done in the past. Nothing that was overly shady or covert. So.
And he did say that he did nothing inappropriate in that regard. But,
of course. You're always going to, you know what, I was pretty shady. Yeah. Truth be known,
I wasn't
like
inappropriate. Yeah.
I missed the first few minutes of the lunch break and we're talking politics already?
Yeah,
What
we're
happened?
getting right into
we're
it.
talking news.
You're gone and we get serious.
Brett Kavanaugh?
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not a politician. I know nothing about it, so I guess let's move on. Yeah, fair enough. I came in and immediately want to disagree, and I don't know why. So I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna let it slide. It's fine. Let's what's next? I guess. Yeah.
All right. Devil's advocate. I like it though.
Thank you.
All right.
Somebody's gotta.
Moving on. Moving on back to the immigration topic, which we talked about for weeks for a while. Well, it's up again. The Trump administration is switching things up when it comes to the limit for detaining migrant families with minor children. UPI reports the 20-year-old agreement has a loophole that says you can only hold these families for 20 days. Well, they're trying to close that loophole, and officials would be able to hold them for longer as long as they are, quote, treated with dignity, respect, and special concern for their particular vulnerability. The regulations would go into effect in early November, but of course, there's lots of expected pushback.
Hold on. Dignity and respect. I thought the whole deal was we just haul them back over and throw them in the river, right? That's what we're doing.
Jeez.
Like, what are we... And why are we trying to hold people for longer than 20 days? I thought this was immediate turnaround.
They're not supposed to hold them for 30 days, but you have to have your due process.
Yeah.
They've been working on 635 for like 8 years, and it's still under construction. Can we get some taxpayer dollars off the border and over here? Can we get that done? How about a little infrastructure, gang?
So then what's
longer
the
than
answer,
20
though?
days? What are we doing? Why do we need people for longer than 20
why
days?
you're against Kavanaugh. We figured it out right now. We figured it out.
I genuinely missed the first chunk. I don't know what you're talking about with Kavanaugh. No, I'm being facetious. I guess that's good, I suppose. I'm not sure what their particular vulnerability. Yeah, that's a word. Is other than you're not a citizen here. But that's great. Cool, I guess.
I love it when you're in unsure
Immigration.
waters. Yeah.
I'm enjoying these comments a lot.
Just trying to kind of swim your way out.
I saw that low viewer count. I want to get those numbers up, so that's where we're at. Sorry.
No, I enjoyed it. Okay. Another story, a reoccurring story this week, Nike signing and airing Colin Kaepernick as a spokesperson for their new campaign. In case you don't know, I think most of us know by now, but the ad said, quote, believe in something even if it means sacrificing everything. Well, the commercial aired for the first time last night at the kickoff of NFL, and of course Twitter exploded. Many loved the message, saying that he stood up for what he believed in. No pun intended there, considering he didn't stand. Others.
Oh boy. A little bit of op-ed in Sarah Strackhouse News. I love it. Well done. Yes.
Others are saying that the young athlete who didn't play and signed this $1 million deal doesn't, quote, comprehend the word sacrifice. Nike stock took a hit at the beginning of the week, has since rebounded a little bit.
Yep.
I don't know. Thoughts?
Go ahead, Zach.
No. I don't
Jump
have.
in.
I can move on.
No, I was just gonna say on another podcast we were talking about. I said I was a little surprised that the stock dipped. I guess I didn't think it was gonna go up. I didn't know what it was going to do, but either way, I was surprised it did anything, I guess. And the people I was on a podcast with both looked at me in the same way Josh is looking at me right now. It was like, what are you talking about? And there's a reason I don't play the stock market, because I don't know any of this stuff.
Okay.
So
It's going to dip. The first thing I did when they did this, I was like, this is ridiculous. Awesome. I'm buying a lot of Nike stock because it was going to dip.
Right.
I wanted to dip a little bit more than it did. It only dipped like a couple bucks.
Yeah.
But I wanted a good like $5 or $10 dip.
Right.
But then it turned right back around. It'll be up to the same, if not a little bit higher for a while, and then it'll even out.
Right.
Anytime, and that's another story that they had in the news was Tesla. That guy, Elon Musk.
Elon Musk.
Yeah, Elon
I
Musk.
like Eli Musk.
It's a lot better name.
Yeah, for sure.
He should go with
Let's
that.
go through this again.
Gosh. Elon Musk smoked weed on the
Joe Rogan experience.
Yeah.
You can't prove it was weed, even though he very clearly stated this is marijuana and tobacco. So yeah.
So he smoked weed on a podcast, and his stock dropped by like 9 or 10%.
And it's such a shame we don't. Not that we need to have video of that playing, but I went back and reviewed the footage this morning because I couldn't find like a good publication that was like, here's exactly the timestamp in the 2.5-hour show they recorded where he did it. And it's so funny when Joe Rogan offers it to him, and he's like, "It's legal in California, right?" And then just does it. I was like, "Good for you!" Like, well done. Yeah, you're like, "It's fine, stockholder. It's cool."
He's
like,
no
and then
narc.
immediately following that, Joe Rogan said, "Hey, do stockholders care about this? Like, is that something important to them?" And he was like, "I don't know. It's fine."
When has Elon ever? Huh? Is it right?
Yeah, you got it.
When has he ever cared about what the stockholders think?
Never.
Exactly.
Never.
Yeah.
Never.
And in a way, I respect
his
that.
stock will drop, and again, you go out and you buy all of that you possibly can.
Right.
Because it'll go back up, and then you sell then too.
Because a lot of times that doesn't reflect reality or what's really happening with the business. It's
knee-jerk.
You're very right. You know something I heard recently, and I could be saying this somewhat wrong, so don't fact check me here. But I heard that Tesla has never been profitable.
I've heard that. I've heard about Netflix.
Right? Is that
is true.
correct? Okay.
Yes, they have never been profitable.
How? Like, I just don't understand how that is possible.
Well, I guess it doesn't necessarily mean they're not making money. It's just that they're spending a lot of money too.
Yeah.
So
they bring in
develop
like
stuff.
they cover payroll, whatever it is, but they're
not making profits.
Their research and development, their R&D, is really high.
Mm-hmm.
And right now, he has investors and he has some people that are buying into different things. So he has money coming in.
Yeah.
I don't think he's losing money personally.
He's shooting cars into space. What does he care about money?
He doesn't care about cash.
No.
I don't know.
So yeah,
I
so
just found that
they've
odd.
never on the books have turned a profit.
Interesting. Well, there you go.
There you go.
All right, moving on to our kicker. People are reacting to a back-to-school welcome dancing act in China. I forgot to add one thing in there. It was a pole dancing act.
You know, if I didn't know any better, you didn't forget to add that. That was
you.
intentional. Yeah.
I'm trying to be punny this time.
Hey, you're winning, so
Thank
it's
you.
working.
Thank you. Well, the kids were kindergartners, and it was a back-to-school ceremony with children and parents. Parents of some of the children say they're trying to get their children out of that school and their tuition back. The defense from the principal was that it was international and good exercise. This is according to Sky News. They also report the head of the kindergarten was fired by the Chinese city of Shenzhen. I hope I'm saying that right.
Nailed it.
Boom.
I have no idea.
Oh, you made me all excited.
The most surprising part of the story for me is that it was in China. I figured for sure when I read that headline, I was like, well, what state did that happen in? Like, I figured for sure that was American somewhere.
And
but
again, just for full disclosure, this is not indicative of every Asian culture or society.
No.
And because I have a similar thing when I went to I was in the Philippines and I was at what was it? It was a homecoming.
A ceremony?
oh
A
man,
homecoming.
I was playing fill in the blank so bad. I was like, what can I blurt out that would make Josh look silly?
It was a homecoming. It was
homecoming.
a homecoming for this private school in the Philippines. It was
High school.
It was a high
Okay.
school age, yeah. But it was they had class of 20, class of 64, whatever it is. They had
alumni and
going
stuff
way
like
back,
that.
yeah.
Yeah.
And this was a party, big stage, big performers, giant roasted pigs in the back, phenomenal. It was a gala, and part of this gala they had a cabernet. Is that what not cabernet? That's a wine. Cabaret dancers.
Oh.
Where they're dancing in scantily dressed clothing. I was like, this is odd.
Wow.
Aggressive.
Yeah. So maybe that's just part of hey, we're all
what they
we're all a little footloose and fancy free here.
I heard so I went to Lehigh University, and I heard one of the teachers was talking, and she had gone there. I can't remember now when it was, maybe the 50s or whenever they first started letting women. She said they used to roll out kegs at orientation.
Nice.
And I know that's not a cabaret dancer or a pole dancer, but that's still a little, I was like, oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Back when drinking,
Yeah.
Right.
there was an age limit.
Sure,
Yeah.
it was fine.
Yeah. So again, I don't know if that was it, but that to me, maybe she's seen a little bit differently because she stayed dressed the entire time. She never went undressed. She just an
something-
Was
exotic
it scantily
dancer.
clad?
Yeah.
With
Just
something
something
to
to
say that.
encourage the kids.
Good exercise.
Go back to twerk.
Yeah.
Back to twerk.
Nice.
Sorry, Sarah. Thank you so much for the news. Of
course. Thanks for having me, guys.
A quick break. When we come back, we have International Beer Day and other festivities happening in DFW involving suds. That and more when we come right back.
Not that I'm slow, but I always thought signing up for a long-distance plan would require part of my brain I'm not quite familiar with yet. But this True USA savings thing from AT&T, cake! As long as I spend $25 a month, I can call anyone, anytime, anywhere in the U.S. and save 20%. And all I had to do was this. I just put it here, and it went like this. Hello. Boom. Done deal. 20% richer, 20% smarter. Your true voice.
What happened here? Who can resist the golden, buttery, melt-in-your-mouth taste of a Ritz? It's one of a kind. Who can resist a Ritz?
Okay. First off,
All right.
what parents go, yeah, hang out in this death pin as I drive around apparently the bumpiest road in DFW. If you're listening to this in audio only, you just saw a weird commercial for Nabisco where they're in an RV and they're driving, I'm guessing, in the foothills.
They're basically just driving off-road.
Yeah, off-road. And, like, flour somehow was stored up on a shelf, falls on the kids.
Stuff is just falling on the children.
Yeah, and they're all having a good time.
And the mom comes back with an attitude.
Yeah, like,
What happened back here?
I'm sorry for putting your life in danger.
What are you talking about? An attitude? They spilled flour in an RV. You know how long it's going to take to get out of there? You know who can resist a Ritz? The guy who has to clean that out.
It wasn't the kids'
You got to
fault.
get their shop back. You're going to get that out of the carpet.
No.
That's going to take forever. That's
You just sell the RV at that point in
That
time.
smell of flour will never come
Yeah.
out. And
The
I
smell
wanted
of
to
flour.
make sure I mentioned that at one point AT&T had the number 1-800-TRUE-USA. That's
not bad.
great. Yeah, who locked that down?
How about long-distance plans?
I kept
Is that a
thinking
blast
that
from the past?
I was hoping that Ritz commercial was one of those like spoof ads where it starts out where they're like on the thing and then the flour falls down and the RV just takes a dive right off the side of the cliff. Oh man, I wasn't that fortunate, but it was
sorry.
just as much of a train wreck as I had hoped.
Yeah. So today's International, I think, Beer Lovers Day.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and they're having a brew fest at the farmers market. So if you're in the DFW area, not one of our international viewers, if you're in the DFW area and you want to go check out the farmers market to go get some good quality brews,
Sounds all right.
you can do that. I was having a conversation with my wife just days ago about my consumption of beer. I love beer. I love
Was
artisan.
this like an ambush conversation whenever you walked in the door?
No. It
Josh,
wasn't
sit
like
down.
Josh, just sit down. We've created a banner. Your best friends are here. We need to have a talk.
We need to talk about your consumption of beer.
No, it was it was a conversation about my realization as I become older. In college, Josh, I could have a case of beer and be fine.
Oh, you could put it away.
Yeah. Be fine. No problems at all. And as I got older, I realized that is no longer an option for me. Three beers is my like cap. That's I'm good. 3 beers.
What stops you?
Yeah. What do you
going,
mean
I don't want to
cap?
feel gross in the morning.
Gotcha. Okay.
Like I'm not drunk.
Like hangover gross? Or
Yeah,
like
like not hungover in the sense of like I'm like but just like I just feel groggy.
Right, it's not that your tolerance has gone down. It's not that you drink 3 beers and you're like, oh,
Yeah.
you know
Taking my
that you're going to
shirt
have to
off.
pay for it, so you stop at 3.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
anything more than 3. But now it's getting to the point where if I have like 1 or 2, and I say craft beers that have more of like complexity in their flavor, maybe more caramel, whatever it is.
Sure. Yeah.
More stuff. I still feel a little like, ugh, the next day.
that's why you switched to Natty Light.
So
right.
it's- well, I had that not about 9 I had that conversation. Am I gonna be the guy who, when I turn 40, I don't do artisan beers? I'm a Michelob Ultra or a Miller Lite guy, and is that gonna be me?
That's what it's for.
Okay, well, you know this better than anybody. It's important to support your local breweries, right? Like those big chains, yeah, they're fine. What do they need our help for? Like the little guys, the craft breweries, like that's the good stuff. That's what you should be drinking.
Sure.
But I don't think there's anything wrong with sticking with the staples, right? That's how Dad did it. That's how those became the staples, right?
But I always assumed that when the dads, when I was in high school, and the dads that were drinking, Coors Light or drinking whatever it is,
Sure.
Killer Time, it was because that was the option they had. Like
Right.
you didn't have
Well, craft
a
brew
million,
wasn't really much of a thing.
Yeah,
right?
you didn't
point.
have a ton of craft brews out there.
Yeah.
And for me, I've always considered the domestic beer. Mm-hmm. I do know that Miller is brewed here in Fort Worth and is a phenomenal brewery. Mm-hmm. But craft brews have put a lot more effort and energy and time and how they want things to taste and the profile and the complexity. And for the most part, Miller, Coors, Bud, and the other ones in that genre just kind of go, hey, we want to make a pretty good beer.
Yeah.
Right.
And put it out to anyone and everyone.
They also own a lot of the smaller.
They go out and buy a lot of
labels
these
that you
breweries
might
as well.
like as well.
But for the most part, craft brews are still keep them the same when they buy.
Sure.
Like I think it was Bud. They bought one of my favorite breweries out of San Diego, Ballast Point, whatever it is, and they made some really good beer. They didn't change up the way the beer was done. Still the same tasting
But now
beer.
it's Budweiser.
Now I don't care who owns it. I just want good beer.
Sure.
But I'm getting to the point where I'm gonna have to be like a Miller Time, Miller Lite guy.
So you think that will make the difference, switching to like a light?
I think so, because I've been on a golf course and had like 5 Miller Lite beers.
As you should, and on a golf course.
yeah, as I should.
Yeah.
And have been fine. Like didn't feel anything at all.
Yeah.
So it's just like beer flavored water.
Totally.
Yeah. Like, I'm good. So
Well, I've always had a weird. I think it's safe to say very immature taste in beer, and that I don't mind drinking light beer. The heavier stuff usually I'm not that into, only because one, exactly that, I feel like I feel it more in a way that I don't enjoy. And 2, because usually if I'm drinking beer, like if I wanted to drink something that was particularly flavorful, I'd drink some kind of cocktail or like a soda. If I'm gonna drink beer, like I kind of don't care what it tastes like. I'm
utilitarian.
I'm just looking for that
trying
little
to get hammered.
that
Just looking to get some business
liquid
done.
courage, as we refer to it in the business. Yeah, a little bit of high spirits. So
Look, you got an end goal in mind, and it doesn't matter how. You
well, the fact is, like, if I'm drinking something because I want to enjoy like the flavor and complexity of taste, like I'll drink Coca-Cola. That stuff's like genetically designed by science and God to be incredible.
so is beer.
Well, some is, yeah, but there's so many beers out there. It's tough for me to nail down one that I really enjoy. So when it comes to beer, I've always been kind of indifferent, but I guess there's something there. You're right. Like drinking something more complex, a little bit more like handmade versus like right out of a factory. This is the same beer always, and it's light and it's cheap and it's easy. Makes a difference in how you feel, which is a bummer.
Yeah, it was true. My wife just put in the comments that one year we bought 16 bottles of Pumpkinator. It's from St. Arnold's.
Pumpkinator.
Which seems to be, Christine was saying, one of her favorite.
Yeah.
They have, it's a phenomenal. We like aging them. A friend of mine was talking about how they age beer because it grows still while it's in the bottle and they can change its complexity. By the second year, the Pumpkinator was basically like syrup. Like beer syrup. It was so thick.
Back in my day, that was called skunking a beer.
Yeah, man, it was like it was tough. It was tough to get down.
Right.
But there's like underground beer cultures here in DFW.
Yeah.
I got invited out when I was writing for Dallas Morning News. I got invited out to a secret society.
Oof.
Oh.
So it was like, hey, we're having this tasting, and it was at I won't even say where it was. It was at a place that would not be uncommon to have beer at. That's as vague as I'm going to be.
Buffalo Wild Wings.
And I get there and I go, hey, I'm here to see, this guy. And he goes, what's your name? And I'm like, my name's Josh. He's like, 1 second. And he walks off like the back, which is weird.
Yeah.
And then he goes, okay, come with me. And I go to this back room.
Yeah.
And in the back room there's like storage facility. And there's like 15 guys in there. Like I'm dying tonight.
Yeah, that's how a bad movie starts.
Yeah.
Wow.
And they're all like this, that. They all like store their like aged beer in there, and they have a beer club that meets privately in this one room, and they like have beer exchanges, and they're all like, one guy had a beer that was like a $200 bottle and only made like 100 of them ever, and we were sampling that and passing it around.
Wow.
And I remember I was kind of saying to this guy, because I thought I really liked beer. I thought I was a big beer guy.
Yeah.
That room humbled me tremendously.
You're like, you guys into Shiner?
Yeah. I got this really cool beer.
I got
called
a Bach
Shiner.
for you. How about that?
No, they were passing around a sour mash beer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And at the time, I hadn't really enjoyed a sour mash beer. I was like, I'm really not into sour. He was like, I remember when my palate was unrefined as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
You're sipping beer, guy.
Yeah,
Like you're not doing a Scotch tasting or anything.
It was impressive, the amount of beer knowledge and like just like the way it was done was.
I'm really bummed there wasn't a password.
I mean, there could have been. And I just didn't know what it was.
You weren't invited back.
I was not invited back.
Okay, what is...
I was not deemed worthy.
I don't mean to get too far off on a tangent here, more than we already have. What is a sour mash, and does it actually taste sour?
It has, so at the end of it, what they do is they add an ingredient at the end of the brewing process.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, kind of makes it taste like, kind of makes you pucker a little bit.
Yeah.
So they call it a sour mash. There's just a chemical agent that affects with the way that it ferments. So it's a little bit more.
The deepest I've ever gone into beer culture, I've never been invited to any secret tastings. This is probably why. I got this brilliant idea in college when I was a regular beer drinker to hop on the beer subreddit, just our beer. And I figured it'd be like funny memes and like goofy videos of guys doing stupid things when drinking, or like, who knows, drinking games. No, it turns out those guys are like the most hardcore IPA enthusiasts. And the first post I get on there to look at, it's some dude who is like, you're not going to believe this, guys. Check this out. I found a 6-pack of this IPA in my grandpa's basement that's been down there for like 30 years. And the stuff in it has settled down to the bottom of the bottle, and it's like a hard disc of like whatever is settled in there. Yeah. And so I took one out and like shook it up a little bit and drank it, and I could like taste the chunks. I was, I'm out. I don't know. What are you doing? Like, come on. You're drinking 30-year-old. What? Like, get out of here. I'm out. I never went back.
There's nothing to be gained from that.
Yeah, like you people are insane.
So I homebrew. And when you homebrew, I don't have the filtration process that a brewery has.
Mm-hmm. Which I assume is a very fine process. It's got to be a lot of...
It's an important process. We don't have that. And we've gotten better at, like, we go into a bottling vessel, and we kind of move out. So we're kind of getting rid of that sediment, which is what you saw settling at the bottom. So there's a chance that was homebrewed, because usually they have a filtration process that gets all that stuff out. But either way, with the first few years of homebrewing, we would have a little disc at the bottom.
Yeah.
And the key is you had to like pour like only 3/4 of it.
Oh, okay.
The last bottom, if someone saw a chunk fly into their glass, they weren't going to be keen on drinking it down.
I figured it was like the worm at the bottom of a bottle of tequila. Like whoever gets that,
take a bite out of it.
That's right.
Yeah. You don't want to dance with that. I did want to get into one story here that I saw about a guy, and this is, to me, I don't know what you'd do in this scenario. This would have been you. But Dale Hutchins had an overdue book at the library.
Okay.
So fines, I'm sure, accrue. I'm curious to know what his fine was.
Hardened criminal Dale Hutchins.
This book, it took place, let's see, he was overdue by 50 years. The book was left in good condition.
Still at large.
He did leave a note on there when he turned it in. It says 50 plus years past due. Sorry. Sorry. Checked out on this day, Dale H. So just turned it back in. What would you guys do if you saw you had a book out that was 50 years overdue?
Oh, I'd never take it back.
I would take a photo, I'd tweet it, and laugh, and that would be about it. Yeah, I'd try to get some fake internet points. But yeah, I wouldn't take it back. Why bother at that point?
Yeah.
All you're running the risk of at that point is finding somebody who's a stickler enough to hunt you down for a late fee. Like, that's the risk you're running.
What can they do? Can they, like, is this something that they could sue you for? I don't think so.
No, they can't. And I think what happens, at least in Plano, is you can have a charge, and the max the charge can be is the cost of the book for them.
Yeah.
Which I don't know. I mean, it's a lot higher. Just like at Best Buy when they used to have it. They pay $200 or $300 per DVD.
Yeah.
So that's as high as the fine could be, but they can't like come after you.
I think you mean.
What would I say?
Best Buy.
That's the one.
Because that would not make financial sense if they were paying $300 for.
It would not. They lose money constantly. Yeah, Blockbuster. But yeah, you just can't use the library services until you pay your fine.
Right.
Huh. Well, I guess he didn't need them because he got away with that book for 50 years.
Apparently he borrowed it in Georgia, and then it somehow ended up in a storage in Texas. That seems super shady to me.
Yeah.
How do you rent a book in Georgia, ends up in a storage room in Texas?
And you never notice it until...
Who has a storage room for 35 years? It's always a temporary thing to me. It's not a permanent thing.
I always get a chuckle. My mom is a big garage sailor. I was looking for that great find or some antique or something. Josh is familiar. He used to do that with old coins and stuff.
I did, yeah.
And I always got a laugh out of like finding library books, like a garage sale, sitting on a bench or something, or like Blockbuster DVDs. But Blockbuster sold their stuff after a while, so that could have been bought. But library books, those are always cool, like having the card in the back and stuff. I was like, somebody checked this out once and just never went back, and that was it. They just took it and left.
Yeah, I used to love having like the video store clamshell cases, like the Blockbuster case or whatever.
Yeah.
I used to love having those things, and I don't know why I thought it was cool. But I whenever they were doing a sale like that of a used video or something, I would buy it and just obsess over having the Blockbuster cases.
Me being the purist, I was the exact opposite. I was like, I don't want that Blockbuster case stuff. Like, I want the legit, the box art, like from the store.
Cover,
And then looking back, like now I wish I had one of those because that would be a cool piece of media history.
We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we have two food news segments. One about men and a vegetarian diet, and then the biggest menu fails from McDonald's. And also coming up in the story, in the show today, I have a dream that involves a member of the show, and my wife is mad about it. I'll share that dream coming up next. First news we have is involving men being too embarrassed to order vegetarian food.
Okay.
It is a thing. There is a sense in this country that if you're a man, if you're a rock solid man, you order beef, you order potatoes, period.
It's correct.
You're not messing around with kale or some broccoli wrapped something or other. You're messing around with real food.
Have we not reached a point in society where you can just order what you want and not worry about somebody judging?
No, we haven't.
Judging you.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's dig into this for a minute. Where does this come from?
This is from Vice.
Okay. So Vice is a legitimate publication.
They did a study. Meatless meals aren't masculine was a study that they did from a bunch of British folks who got to sit around and talk about whether or not if some guy sat down and was like, I'll have broccoli spears and some nice kale salad with walnuts, which again sounds like a fine meal.
Sure.
You can eat vegetarian and get all of your protein. You can meet the pyramid and be fine. But there's something to it, and I would say that's probably true.
Is this in groups of men?
So a bunch of guys were sitting around and they were talking about the order, and they were like, are you more embarrassed to order a vegetarian dish? And a large percentage of them said yes. And they said, why is that? They said, because it's not a manly thing to do. They said that researchers said they talked to guys in the UK and they felt pressured to choose meat if they were dining out, especially if they were at at a butcher shop or a barbecue place.
Well, yeah,
a place known like a steakhouse.
Yeah,
you felt inclined to do that.
Why are you going to a steakhouse if you don't want to eat steak?
Well, I think what they're saying is my wife goes to a steakhouse and she can still order things. They still have tofu at steakhouses. Like Eddie V's has a very nice tofu dish.
Do they really?
Yeah.
I'll keep that in mind. Good to know.
There's a place in what was it, downtown? It's one of the Pyle restaurants, Stephen Pyle restaurants. But they have a really nice risotto that they can make as a vegetarian dish.
Good for them.
Yeah, good for them. But if you're at a place like that, you feel unsure, and I would say that's true for me. I would feel if I was at a steakhouse, I didn't get some sort of meat, I'd feel like I've wasted the experience.
But where's this? Right. Okay, where's this pressure coming from? This was what I'm trying to figure out.
Pressure. It is a totally
the waiter is gonna judge you, or the chef is gonna come out and shame you. Like, how dare you not order?
It's an insecurity. It's something that I think guys don't talk about, but they have insecurity when they sit down.
Whom?
To me,
With
I'm
who you're
insecure
with?
about it. Yeah.
I think it's important to frame this appropriately. Are we speaking only in terms of steakhouses? Because personally, I think these UK cats just don't get it. Like, it's just like when I was talking about, I said that goofy line about I don't like to drink out of a straw in public because it's less masculine. What I should have said was, you remember that? Yeah. What I should have said was, it's ineffective character building, which sounds even more stupid.
What?
But hear me out. If you're to say a business lunch, you're a meeting, right? And you're meeting with some folks, and maybe you don't know, a client, whoever. And everybody gets their drink and is drinking out of a straw, and you're the one person at the table drinking out of the side of the glass. It gives you character. It makes you stand out in a way that's...
no one notices. Not a single person at that table notices.
They do.
That
you
not
don't
drinking out of
notice,
a
and that's
straw.
why you're the guy drinking out of a straw.
I
That's
do
what
both,
it is.
but nobody notices.
If you go to lunch with a bunch of people and everybody goes around and gets what you want, and you're a dude and you order a salad, it makes you stand out in a small way that says, hey, that guy is doing something different. Maybe he's on a diet. Maybe he's watching his weight. Maybe he just likes eating veggies more. But the fact is, it makes you different. It makes you stand out. So we may be less masculine, but that's offset by the fact that you are unique and you're a person, and that should be
maybe if
respected.
everybody orders a steak and you order a salad, but the straw thing, I've literally never been at a dinner and thought, gosh, that Tom, what an interesting fellow. He was drinking out of the side of his glass all night. I couldn't believe it. Like,
I would
what a
unpack
character.
his life. What decisions has he made that has gotten to the point where he is today? I think if you're sitting there and you're like trying to find the
Have you
straw,
ever
like,
noticed? You're telling me never once in your life you've
something.
noticed that somebody is drinking differently than you.
Not unless they made a big show of it.
You
like,
observe somebody
no
ordering.
straw,
I
please.
mean, this is not a far reach. Everybody goes around the table and everybody orders their drink, and everybody gets water, and then one person on the end gets a soda. That's the topic of conversation. People talk about that. People talk about what you drink. That is a thing. Okay, stop. Now you're looking at me incredulously. You know what I'm talking about. You know you do.
No, I've never been at a dinner where
Yes,
someone
you have.
orders. No, and I'm
Yes.
like, a soda.
You have sat around a round table in public, and everybody goes around and orders the drinks, and everybody starts going water, and suddenly you pick up a trend. Everybody here is ordering water, and at some point you think to yourself, well, I should order water too because I don't want to be the one that stands out and doesn't do that.
I've never thought that.
Yes, you have.
I haven't.
You have.
I just told you I've been secure about ordering with vegetables at a restaurant. I would tell you if I thought of that. I haven't thought of that.
Okay,
don't.
Hold on. If you're that guy then that does order soda when everybody else are you thinking that, or are the other people at the table thinking then, what's his deal?
Yes.
Is that, why? Why
because you're the one person
that
that did something different. You're the one standout. You're the one person who was like,
Everybody
I'm doing
orders a
something
different
not everybody
meal.
else is doing, which is the point with salads or veggies at a steakhouse.
I think
do something different. You do something unique. You are suddenly separate from everybody else. And while it may be a little less masculine in your head, people, that stands out. That matters in a very small, pretty much totally insignificant way. And that is lukewarm defense of ordering a salad at a steakhouse. Nobody listen to them. They don't know what they're talking about.
I think if you like Peter Pan, you're like, I'll have a what? Like if you were like dramatic about it, that would be something to talk about. If you were like over the top,
well, that's the thing. These UK cats think it is dramatic, and it isn't. It's a freaking salad at a restaurant. You don't have to overthink it. You don't have to do a whole segment on a podcast about it.
I mean, look, if the only way I could see this being a thing is if you're with like your guy friends or whatever like that. Everybody's like, yeah, we're going out to get a steaks and we're going to go eat a bunch of barbecue and meat. And you're the one going, I'll just have the potato salad or I'll just have the green beans. Yeah, asparagus and green beans, please. Then I could understand there being afterwards or during like some ribbing or some peer pressure to be like, what are you doing? Like, get some sausage, man, or something like that.
Yeah.
But like as a thing, like again in a business setting where someone's going around the table,
I mean, it's not
noticing.
that I don't understand why you guys haven't observed this before.
I'm not saying
I went
that
to a
people don't
business lunch
notice.
once.
I'm not saying that people don't notice if someone gets a salad when literally nobody else gets a salad. Everybody else is ordering, but I don't think that reflects poorly on the person.
No,
It
I
reflects
don't
it
either.
differently
That's
in
my
any
point.
sort of way.
Yeah, it doesn't make any difference. So
I will say this. I have done this.
Yeah.
I've gone first to order at a lunch. I'm like, I'll have a cheeseburger.
Yeah.
And then everyone else ordered a salad, and I'm like, maybe I should have ordered a salad.
Right, but at the end of the day, the fact that you stand out is offset by the fact that you didn't get a salad. Anybody that might be judging you like, well, Josh didn't get a salad. Like, what is he doing? The rest of us are eating healthy, and he's eating a cheeseburger?
He's drinking from the side of his cup.
It still matters
like
when
a
they're
mongrel?
leaving later somewhere in their head that got notated like, hey, Josh Hart stands out from everybody else. Like,
It's unhealthy.
the fact is, it builds mystique. You stand alone.
What
and
you
that's
don't want to be
important.
is the only person that orders alcohol.
That's
what you don't want to be.
You do not want to be that guy.
Ooh, I will say this.
Yeah.
So on your point, I
Yeah.
used to order back in the day, and maybe I was a little bit more of a bag back then. We'll say.
All right.
I would order a Tom Collins. I thought that was super
Ooh.
classy.
Okay, wait. What's in a Tom Collins?
It's basically like lemonade with gin in it.
Okay.
I mean, that's a really rough. That's not what it actually is. It involves tonic water and lemon. And
It's like
yeah.
It's like a wet Arnie Palmer. Nobody's gonna jump on that. All right.
Nope.
Fine.
That
has tea in it.
That's tea, yeah.
Right, but that's why I said it was wet.
But I thought,
wet
I was.
Go ahead.
I can't anymore.
I can't.
Yes, you can.
I was like 23, 24,
Yeah.
and so that this is a way to stand out because everyone else is ordering. At that time, the popular drinks were like vodka, Red Bull and vodka,
Totally.
or I can't
Jaeger
even
bombs.
think of the I can't even think of what the cocktails were that
Party
kids
time.
were drinking. Yeah, I was like, I'll have a Tom Collins, please, with a twist.
Yeah.
I felt more sophisticated. I was
Right.
not more sophisticated. I was still wearing cargo shorts and a cutoff tee.
Right.
But I still felt.
Right,
like
if you're hanging out drinking with friends, like one of them is gonna they may not even say anything, but somebody's gonna be like, "Really, Tom Collins? What is that about?"
Yeah.
Speaking
And that
of,
question, what is that about? That's mystique.
Speaking of Jaeger bombs, I had a great experience at an Applebee's that I was reminded of. My wife and I went to just go get a lunch, I think it was,
Oh,
at Applebee's. It's just me and her, middle of the day. We sit down. The waiter comes over, and he's like, "What can I get you guys? Can I get you guys started on anything? You want me to get some Jaeger bombs?" I'm like, "Why would you ask me in the middle of the day if I want to get some Jaeger bombs?
Yep.
Like, what are you doing? I'm sitting here with my wife. Like, we're not gonna start pounding Jaeger bombs in the middle of the day."
Is
great.
is it a Saturday though?
It might have been.
It was the
might have been a
freaking
Saturday.
weekend, man. You gotta live it
right.
up. What are you doing wrong? Gotta be
But just like
partying.
of all things, like let's go sit down at an Applebee's. I'm already making a mistake there, and then like,
Yeah.
do I want to
Yeah.
mess up my day even further
Yeah.
by like
Let's just really
pounding
ruin this
it-
whole thing.
pounding a Jaeger bomb at 2 in the afternoon?
to bring it back around to the steakhouse thing, I have had, or Christina, I should say, has had a waitress once that straight up told her not to get something that wasn't steak on the menu. She went to order like the seafood pasta or something with like fish and shrimp in it. I don't know. And the waitress was straight up. She's like, "Ma'am, I'm sorry. I would not encourage you to get that.
Yeah.
Not that it's not good, but like, frankly, I think I want to say it was Three Forks. She was like, not that I'm trying to be insulting in any way, but like, you should get the steak. Like that's our thing. Like that it was award winning. Like if you can swing it, go for the steak." And Christine was like, "All right, steak it is." Like,
Well, did she enjoy it?
of course, yeah. It's Three Forks steak. It was great, but it was a funny encounter where she was like, "Ma'am, nothing against your decision. Like I get it.
I mean-
you want some seafood, but like." When in Rome, like get a steak. You know, you're at a steakhouse, and that was a unique incident of a waiter straight up telling you,
I find that
do not
surprising.
get the thing you ordered.
Yeah.
Which I mean worked out. Again, she got her this cool cut of steak, and she brought us something extra for the trouble. I think she gives dessert free or something. She's like, "I'm really sorry about diverting your order. Here's a free dessert on us." I was like, "Well, that's
Was it
great."
more expensive?
Oh God, yeah.
Well, yeah, of course. Yeah, they got
It was seafood and pasta. They put like a little bit of seafood and a lot of pasta
Right.
in a bowl. And they
I
charged
mean,
you.
honestly, I appreciate her telling us. Yeah, I was
Yeah.
like, "Hey, you should get this. This is the good thing."
And then another other food news before we get to the dream story is McDonald's biggest menu fails. I always find this to be entertaining, you know, because McDonald's is known for a gazillion burgers sold, whatever the number
Yeah,
is.
sure.
They got a thing and they do it well.
They did it well. So the Arch Deluxe was a fail.
I remember that.
Yeah, back in '96. You remember that?
Arch Deluxe.
Yeah.
That rings a bell.
They spent more money on the ad campaign than they ever did on any other item in history.
Nice.
And they didn't ever see a profit off the Arch Deluxe.
It was like it was just like a fancy burger, right? If I remember correctly, I think it had like lettuce and tomato and stuff like that on it, which they weren't really doing at the time. I don't think.
Huh.
This one was only sold in Norway and in parts of Africa, but it was called the McAfrica, which I'm surprised.
Wow.
it
I
didn't
love
pan
that.
out. And then you have the McLean Deluxe, which was I guess a leaner burger. They're trying to go for some health.
Yeah.
I'm not ever ordering the McLean.
No.
Again, you missed who your audience is.
If I'm going to McDonald's, I've already made a choice.
Yeah.
You know, like I had a choice to go somewhere else. I went to McDonald's because I want to get something that's gonna hurt me later in the day.
I had McDonald's for the first time when we were road tripping up to Michigan. This was the first time I had McDonald's in easy a year, maybe 2. And I was surprised to find that they changed up their menu, and they now have the 3 tiers of Big Mac. Have you seen that?
Oh yeah.
What is that about? Look, yeah, it's exactly that. I'm like, I came here. I drove to this. I could have gone anywhere else. All right.
Yeah.
So if I want to get here and I want to get a Big Mac, just give me the
one of them's even bigger, right?
The Grand Mac or whatever. Which, just like the double stuffed Oreos, I'm convinced you had to have that because you shaved down the size of the Big Mac to the point where it was like, okay, now we have to.
I don't think so. I think the Big Mac is still, unless they've changed the dimensions of it, but I think it's still the same. Same setup.
What they have said, and this is an article I can't remember where it was from, but what they said was what they ended up doing is they had the Big Mac, Little Mac, and something else, and what they've ultimately done is they've pared down the size. So the Big Mac is not as big as it was back X amount of years ago. They've sized it down.
What are they changing though? Because
like
it's still like 2 all beef patties,
like the size of the patty, the size of the bun. Everything's kind of leaning down a little bit.
One pump of Thousand Island, not 3.
Not a whole coating.
Did you hear that story real quick before we get off this about Domino's in Russia? Yeah, I saw this morning. So just like that KFC thing we were talking about the other day, where KFC was running a promotion where if you named your kid Colonel Harlan Sanders or whatever, you'd get free KFC for life or something. You had to do it on the day, and it was very specific. Or no, you get $11,000?
It's September 9th.
September 9th.
Yeah, September 9th, you name your kid just Harlan.
Yeah.
Not even Colonel,
just Harlan.
Wow. Name Harlan. You get $11,000 toward their college fund.
Right, and we were talking about why it couldn't have been more, and the offset of you got to price it correctly or else too many people are going to do it and you're going to run. Domino's in Russia had this problem. They had a promotion that they just canceled that they said if you get a Domino's tattoo, free Domino's for life. And like 1 billion people in Russia did it.
Yeah.
Like everybody, like all you got to do is get the Domino's logo with the blue and the white. And so people got it on their arms. They're rolling the Domino's. Like, all right, give me the sweet free Domino's for life card. So they had to cancel it because so many people did it.
Of course,
right? You gotta find that. You gotta make it challenging enough that not everybody runs on it.
I don't have any tattoos. I don't have any desire to get tattoos. I would get a Domino's tattoo. Free pizza for life. Are you kidding me?
And you could get it somewhere because there's spots on your body, especially if you get it on like the side of your foot or something, where like eventually it will basically go away. Like your skin will get rubbed off to a point where like you kind of just lose it after a time. Or better yet, you can just go get lasered off or get some tattoo off cream. I don't know how you do it.
I think that's it. You show your tattaoo to get the pizza.
Oh, just forever?
So what I would want to do
like a barcode
is you have to
scan?
get tattooed right, like make it specific, right here on your neck.
Yeah.
You'd have to walk in and be like,
nice
pizza, please.
I like that. Yeah, you gotta be particular. You can't make it too easy.
If it had been like get a face tattoo of a domino, then
like
then you're starting to weed people out.
Yeah.
Right. It's too easy. So when it comes to challengers, you got to make them hard.
Yeah. And then lastly, one of the ones that did not do well was the McPizza. Back in the 80s.
That's too bad.
Yeah, they tried to compete with Domino's and Pizza Hut, and they tried their luck at pizzas, pastas, and the dishes were never popular enough and didn't last long.
You ever go for the McDonald's breakfast? Not like the breakfast sandwich, but like the pancake thing?
Yeah, not bad.
That doesn't appeal to me at all.
It's not like that's something I go, hey, you know what I really want right now? Never is that. But on a road trip when you're driving through, like, you know what? I don't want to have another little sandwich. I'll have an actual pancake and whatever sausage meat that is.
Right. When you just have to get something dirty and get on your way.
Yeah. I'm not trying to sit down, pull out a cloth napkin and go to town.
Right.
Just get a McGriddle, dog. It's all in one.
Yeah, it's good.
Oh, McGriddles, they're so good.
Wow, calm down.
They're the worst thing on the menu, right? I thought McGriddle tops out everything else in terms of calories, and
I may get one every 2 years just to remind myself of
they're so good.
what danger tastes like.
So in conclusion here, I know we're wrapping up, getting close to 1 o'clock. I want to tell you guys about a dream.
Yes.
A dream that my wife had.
This is tough because dreams are one of those things. Like, do you guys like listening to other people's dreams, hearing them? It's tough because it's not real. So it's hard for you to get invested in their story because you're like, this didn't actually happen. This isn't really going anywhere. I know at the end of it you wake up. It doesn't matter, but I am curious. This tease Josh dropped
there you go.
Was great.
That's the end
so
of the show.
I can't wait to hear Josh's cool story about this.
Hold on, before you do this, in the past has she ever had a dream about you? Because you're saying it's about a member of the staff.
Yeah.
But has she ever had a dream about you where you did something foul or did something, and she woke up mad at you?
100%. Yeah. She's woken up before me and gone. I'm like, what? She's like, I'm mad at you. I was like, what? Like, we just started the day. Like, why are you mad at me? Like, what have I done already in the 3 seconds you've been awake? And she's like, I had a dream that you did this. And I can't get
It was
get
so
past
real.
It.
It was vivid.
Yeah, and so her dreams must be super vivid.
Did you find yourself apologizing for that?
I said, yeah, I said, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that, I don't know what everyone say. I'm sorry that happened.
I think I get the best end of that because if Christine is a very, very vivid dreamer as well. And if she has a dream where like something awful happens to me, like I'll get a hug and like, oh, it was horrible.
Sure.
But yeah, if I do something dumb, she's just like, that's just a dream. It's great. Like that's
nice.
the best side
Sure,
of that
nice.
equation, I think. Yeah. What was this about?
So this was about, she woke up and she goes, I had a dream about Matt. I'm like, uh-oh.
I figured for sure it was me.
No, it was Matt.
Okay.
She said that for some reason we had, she was coming to pick up our son. I had our son here in the office.
Oh, hold on. What did you think when she first said that?
I didn't assume it was anything like romantic. Calm down. I didn't assume it was a romantic dream. Yeah, come on. Calm down. Said that she had, that she had some reason had left me with our son here at the office.
Okay.
And so she had come up to pick him up. And I guess I was in the room and I left my son in like a meeting that he was in, and we're having this meeting. And so my wife walks into the room and Matt is telling my son, who is 16 months old, to, in a very vulgar way, to be quiet. He's cursing at my son.
I would not inaccurate.
I wouldn't put that past him. Yeah.
He's cursing at my son.
Yeah.
And my wife goes, and again, I don't know where this came from. She goes, "How dare you?" And then like, he goes, "Well," and he goes, "It had to be said. It had to be said." And so she was like, she goes, and the worst was, I was like, "You're gonna get fired. I'm gonna get you." Like she got like real intense.
Come at me. Come at me.
She goes, "The worst part of it, Josh, is I was so like worked up in my dream, I got it wrong." Because he goes, "You can't," because you said to her, "You can't do that." And she goes, "Uh-huh." And then she's like, because Josh is my dad. And I'm like, no, I messed it up. I messed up my good comeback. And then so it took her a while. She goes, "I said it right." But yeah, she said it was one of those things that she was like, I was still mad about it, man. But I was like, well, I said, I promise you that if we ever have our son in the room, Matt won't tell our kid in a vulgar way to be be maybe
unless it needed to be said.
It needed to be said.
Unless it needed to be said. I'm glad I stand on principle.
Yeah.
There are few things as frustrating socially than blowing a good opportunity for a comeback.
Sure.
Man, doing it in your dream when you hold all the cards, like that's all on you.
Anything can happen.
You were right there. You had it. Oh.
She goes on. I wasn't going to add the second part, but like part 2 of this dream.
Yes.
She is. Yeah.
I haven't read this. No.
Part 2 of this dream. She was on a. She says like a hand bike. Like she's sitting on the ground, like pedaling on a hand bike down 75. What? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what that is. Like a little like hand cart.
Down
like,
already she's in the wrong if she's on the highway on one of these things.
Yeah. And she gets hit by a bicycle.
Oh my God.
Like, I'm lucky to be alive at this point in time because it was only a bicycle. So I don't know where a hand cart and a bicycle on 75 would ever meet up. And she like gets to a farmer's market, and Matt does not offer to help with her injuries.
So I pop up again.
Yeah.
Is this like within the same course of events? Like she leaves work and
yeah. At the farmer's market, though, to be fair, you were selling green beans, which is very important.
Look, man, I've got kids at home to take care of.
Mouths to feed.
I got mouths to feed. I just gotta hawk my beans.
It had to be done.
Yeah.
It had to be done. So
it's not my fault you got run over on 75 when you're out there like an idiot on a push bike.
on a push bike. Yeah, I was like, what in the world? Whatever you ate last night. Because there's a lot of people that play into like dreams and they mean something. I'm not one of those people.
Yeah.
I just think dreams, you're just having a dream.
Yeah, I kind of land in that realm too. Not that I don't inquire. If somebody's like, oh my God, I had this crazy dream. I'm like, okay, well, let's hear it. You know, I think there's probably something tied to it in emotion and how you feel about things, but I think for anybody who's got a rock solid, like, oh, here's exactly what that means, but no, it means something different always. There's never anything really concrete to that.
Well, did she tell you what I said to your son? Like, did she tell you specifically what it was?
Yeah.
Okay, I'd love to hear that.
I can't wait to hear that.
Yeah. It was vulgar. It was bad.
I imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was bad.
Only the best from Mr. Stoker
It was a
in there.
$5 word. Yeah.
Good.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Good.
So yeah, you
I
came
can't wait.
correct, sir.
Diverse vocabulary.
Yeah. So there you go. That is the lunch break show. We'll get into it. I was going to get more into dreams, but it's 1 o'clock. We'll come back on Monday right here on the lunch break show every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 12 to 1. Please like, subscribe, follow, share, all those nice and fun things. And you can always leave a comment below if you have an idea for the next upcoming shows and content. We'll be more than happy to tackle those questions and hard-hitting facts. Sure. As well, I am Josh, Zach, and Matt. Have a phenomenal day. See you guys next week.